This video is brought to you by Blessed Be God Boutique, maker of Catholic fashionable apparel, handmade accessories, and more. Typically, when I have to report to you about a profanation of a Catholic church, it's usually during Lent, usually at the hands of a bishop or priest who decided to bring some really bizarre and evil artwork into their parish or into their cathedral. This time we have a different kind of profanation of a parish to talk about. Some bishop decided, for whatever reason, that they were going to host an event called Holy Hydra. For those who don't know what a Hydra is, it's a multi-headed dragon. The dragon has some rather important symbolic meanings in the Catholic faith. I shouldn't have to explain what that is. I think you can figure it out. But a Hydra is a multi-headed dragon who, when a knight would dispatch with one of its heads, two would pop up in its place. There's an event being held in a parish in Austria called Holy Hydra. This is being done with the full approval of the local church, because of course it is. This story is not even that unusual. The Holy Hydra event involves rave music. There's a trailer that I'll show you from, although I'll be muting it because the music will absolutely be copyrighted. But the trailer shows what looks like a rave, an electronic music dance party, for those who aren't aware, typically with all sorts of illicit materials being used to elevate the experience, we'll say, of the participants. This is happening in a church space. The electronic music, by the way, sounded particularly dark, too. There are, like any other genre of music, you can find, in electronic music, you can find really dark variants or really, I guess, in the superficial kind of way, uplifting variants of it. And, well, this stuff sounded particularly dark to me. And the imagery is not exactly great either, so we want to brace yourself for that. But we get this story from Novus Ordo Watch, who gives us this headline. Hell in Church. Holy Hydra events profane the sacred in Austria. Report on the 15th of June, 2024. See what things the enemy hath done wickedly in the sanctuary. See Psalm 73. Again, this isn't a unique experience in the church. Unfortunately, we have had many, many such stories like this. Oftentimes when you see a parish having this kind of thing done to it, it's after it's been deconsecrated by the local bishop and then sold on the secular market for whoever wants to run it, often turning them, unfortunately, into gyms or restaurants or even dance clubs. But this one has not been. This is a church event, if you can believe that. In Austria, which Austria, for a lot of Catholics, not in Austria, not in Europe, people tend to think the church in Austria is more conservative. And in a lot of ways it is, especially compared to their neighbors in Germany, but this is a problem everywhere to some degree, although I'm not aware of any electronic dance parties or rock concerts happening in actual Catholic churches in North America. Let me know if you can think of an actual rock concert, and I don't mean a praise and worship style mass with a Christian rock. I mean an actual rock concert. Let me know if you're aware of that in the United States in the comments, please. Here's the summary of this before we get to the statement from the organizers of it. So, from the article, quote, we have had countless posts exposing all kinds of blasphemy, desecration, profanation, and sacrilege in Catholic churches over the last few decades, but the event known as Holy Hydra is deserving of yet another such post. It was in 2018 that the Hydra Culture Club of Linz, Austria, began performing in churches once a year. The latest such event took place on June 14, 2024, in the Catholic Church of the Risen Christ in the small town of Gmunden, part of the Diocese of Linz. The false shepherd playing Catholic bishop there is Manfred Schur, appointed to the post by Pope Francis in 2015. As an aside, Novus Ordo Watch is a sedevacantist outlet. I'm not a sedevacantist, nor am I endorsing them. Their view on that, they do, however, do great reporting. That's what we're using this for. The Hydra defines itself as the many-headed creature from the Linz underworld that fights for the subculture day and night, according to the Holy Hydra site. The Hydra team consists of 2 young men and 3 women. End quote. Fighting for the subculture. I wouldn't be talking to you about this if this was happening in some nightclub somewhere. There's 1,000 such of these events probably every night all around the world for the subculture doing it, the subculture thing. Not relevant at all. Except that this one's happening in a Catholic church with the bishop's permission. Why? So let's get to what they have to say about this event. Quote from Holy Hydra itself. Holy Hydra is an interdisciplinary event that focuses on an expanded use of sacred spaces with the aim of broadening the discourse between club culture, religion, and society. The event offers the exclusive opportunity to experience a sacred space in a new perspective and to discover art and culture in a way that has rarely been made accessible before. In addition to a symposium that addresses the theme of sacred and urban space, contemporary dance performances, electronic music, and new media are part of the two-day program. Combining theory and practice, the following questions are discussed. What are the similarities between club culture and religion? How can sacred spaces, such as churches, be used in alternative ways? To what extent can church, art, and culture benefit from each other? The aim is to create awareness for sacred buildings and their further use and preservation. Holy Hydra wants to open up these architecturally unique and culturally and historically valuable spaces in order to make them, apart from their religious significance, discoverable for people regardless of their faith as places of encounter and exchange. End quote. That sounds delightfully synodal, doesn't it? I don't mean to pick on the synodalists here, but that sounds like the kind of thing they would say. That you want to have these culture of exchange and encounter between the church and the world. Viewed through the lens of synodality, to borrow terminology from modern academia, this kind of event isn't that bad of a deal. Maybe in poor taste in terms of the kind of music, but musical taste is purely subjective anyway. So why not? Sure, if you want to make that argument, we can run with it. How about a punk rock concert at a parish? A metal concert at a parish? Whatever the newest hardline rap artist is, why can't they have a concert at a parish? If they do it in the spirit of encounter and dialogue. Any of those I just said sound utterly ridiculous on their face. But for whatever reason, this did not sound ridiculous to the bishop and the priests involved. This is what happens when the authorities in the church decide that the sacred isn't that important and that the material mission of the church should be front and center. Encounter, the corporal works of mercy, all of which are very important. Jesus commanded us to do the corporal works of mercy, and far be it from me to contradict our blessed Lord on that. It just seems to me that the actual context of those commands have been lost on people. That the corporal works of mercy and dialoguing with the world and all this other stuff are supposed to lead to the conversion of souls, bringing people into the church, giving them access to the sacraments, and helping them on the road that they walk in life so that they can achieve sanctity and one day be admitted to the beatific vision. That's been lost on people. It has been lost on people. Here's a short clip from that thing. But here's a short clip, a few seconds long, so you can see what we're dealing with here. Note what they've done to that church. They've lit it up like a Christmas tree. And there's a sort of a demonic-looking face followed by just weird-looking light show. All this would be fine. I wouldn't care really what people did in their own time. But this is happening in a church, not in some club somewhere. This is their idea of appropriate use for church space. Some weird dancing and odd light. And honestly, I wish I could play the copyrighted music for you, but it is really, really dark stuff. And also note that there's sort of an air of yoga about this too, which just makes the whole thing even weirder for me. Truly amazing how tone-deaf this is. Again, any of the examples I gave you of what we could do, rock concerts of various kinds, country music concert even, all of those would be utterly on their face ridiculous. Why this isn't ridiculous to the organizers, I have no idea. Let me know what you thought of this in the comments, please. Like and subscribe if you haven't, it does help. So does sharing this on social media, that helps too. And as always, pray for the church. I'm Anthony Stine. Ave Maria.